Okay. So I don't know if Omar Salio Sabane is online or already.
Yes, he is. From the beginning.
I don't know if he's listening to me. I don't see him in the list.
Okay. It is good like that. Do you hear me, please?
Oh, okay. Omar, how do you do? So,
Yes.
okay. Omar from Guinea. You can start, Omar. Feel free. Thank you so much.
So I will explain for me in French, but I don't know if you all of you understand French, but I will do that in French, please.
I don't know if anyone opposes. I'm going to have a hard time to understand French, but feel free to do your presentation in French, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. Okay, no problem. Mesdames et messieurs, chers organisateurs de cette rencontre mémorable, chers participants, bonjour. C'est un grand privilège et un honneur pour moi de prendre la parole aujourd'hui pour intervenir sur ce webinaire qui réunit essentiellement des spécialistes de patrimoine et d'archéologie. Permettez-moi de vous souhaiter à mon tour la bienvenue à cette rencontre depuis mon pays, la République de Guinée. Mesdames et messieurs, je m'appelle Omar Salia Sabane, enseignant-chercheur à l'Université générale Lansana Conté de Sompogna. Je suis chargé de cours d'initiation à l'archéologie au département d'histoire à la faculté des sciences sociales. Également doctorant à l'Institut national des sciences de l'archéologie et du patrimoine de Rabat au Maroc. Ma thématique de recherche porte sur l'inventaire et l'analyse du matériel archéologique des sites préhistoriques et archéologiques de la République de Guinée. L'histoire du peuplement est une thématique qui a toujours intéressé les chercheurs, notamment les archéologues. Cette histoire concerne le passé des peuples, des populations humaines, ailleurs comme en Afrique, un continent qui abrite encore des zones d'ombre, notamment la Guinée, très peu étudiée sur le plan de l'archéologie. En effet, notre pays qui a grandement participé à l'histoire du continent à travers l'Empire du Mali, le commerce transsaharien atlantique, le commerce des esclaves, la colonisation française et les guerres de résistance a toujours montré des potentialités naturelles immenses. Notre pays a connu également une occupation humaine depuis le Paléolithique. Il abrite de très nombreuses traces d'occupation humaine, mais qui sont peu étudiées sur le plan archéologique. Notre objectif à l'occasion de cette présentation est de comprendre le niveau d'inventaire de ce riche patrimoine culturel de la Guinée. Pour ce faire, il est question de présenter les régions de la Guinée qui montrent ces témoignages du passé pour l'étudier. Les parcours migratoires, l'occupation des espaces, l'évolution de la culture matérielle en relation avec les événements sociopolitiques du pays. La première référence à des grottes en République de Guinée concerne la grotte préhistorique de Kakimbu, Ratouma, près de Conakry, la capitale guinéenne. Elles ont été étudiées par Ami en 1901 et la seconde par Guébar en 1902, qui était un administrateur du cercle de Pita dans le Fouta. Il dit connaître des trentaines de grottes et abris sous roche. La grotte de Santa et des Sens de Kindia, la grotte de Gemesanga dans Télémélé, qui est une province de la Basse-Guinée, la grotte de Petelalia à Pita, et tant d'autres attendent d'être fouillées afin de ressortir notre passé historique de l'oubli. L'archéologie de la Guinée reste encore à un stade très peu développé, malgré les recherches qui y sont menées depuis le XXe siècle. Les raisons nous avons les recherches sont inégalement réparties, la publication sont des valeurs disparates, les données portant sur les trouvailles ponctuelles sont effectuées dans les agglomérations de proximité, notamment le long des axes de communication. Ensuite, nous avons l'absence de projets coordonnés avec des objectifs et des perspectives à long et moyen terme. Mesdames et messieurs, la plupart des publications sur l'archéologie guinéenne remontent au XXe siècle et celles-ci présentent premièrement les collectes fortuites des administrateurs ou des explorateurs. Ensuite, nous avons les méthodes de recherche qui sont de plus en plus anciennes et les résultats sont inadaptés dans le contexte actuel des recherches scientifiques, notamment dans le domaine de l'archéologie. C'est par exemple le cas d'un ensemble culturel défini sur la base des industries lithiques dites toumbiennes de Guinée, retrouvées principalement dans la grotte et abris sous roche de Kakimbo, qui nécessite désormais une remise en question. Le site n'est pas, à vrai dire, une grotte en tant que telle, mais c'est un abri creusé dans le rocher qui se trouve non loin du littoral, dans une pente en terrasse. Au-dessus de la grotte se trouve un bois sacré consacré au génie de Kakimbo. Si je prends l'historique de l'évolution de la recherche archéologique en République de Guinée, nous pouvons remonter depuis 1901-1953, où nous avons assisté à la seule collecte aléatoire des administrateurs, notamment dans la région de la Moyenne-Guinée, parce que le pays est subdivisé en 4 régions naturelles. Donc, au niveau de la Moyenne-Guinée, de la Haute-Guinée, nous allons assister à des collectes des administrateurs, c'est-à-dire de l'administration coloniale. Ensuite, quelques rares études qui vont être faites sur le lithique, sur la culture lithique. Et les données précises sont très souvent incohérentes. Ça remonte depuis le début du XXe siècle. Ensuite, nous avons la seule étude archéologique d'envergure qui a été menée depuis notre indépendance en 1958, est celle conduite par une équipe polono-guinéenne dirigée par Vladislav Filipoviak avec professeur Djibril Tamsir-Niane et Ismaël Bari en 1968 et 1975 sur le site de Niani. Niani, c'est la capitale de l'ancien empire du Mali. L'empire du Mali qui a caractérisé l'organisation politique du continent africain, notamment dans sa partie occidentale. Donc, de 1968 à 1978, les travaux de cette équipe polono-guinéenne au nord-est de la Guinée ont mis à jour la localisation de l'ancienne capitale du Mali, Niani, occupée entre le 6e et le 17e siècle. Je n'ai pas pu faire la présentation de ce tableau au niveau de cet exposé, sinon on pouvait voir ici les échantillons de céramique et des fabrications locales présentés à l'époque en 1975 par Filipoviak. Ensuite, vous avez Eric Uscombe qui a fait des études en 1987 dans son ouvrage intitulé « Les recherches archéologiques en Afrique de l'Ouest ». Il a consacré un chapitre sur les sites archéologiques de la Guinée. Sa synthèse sur les recherches archéologiques et l'établissement d'une cartographie des sites découverts nécessite de nos jours une actualisation, ce qui est mon objectif parce que actuellement, contrairement à beaucoup de pays en Afrique de l'Ouest comme le Sénégal, comme le Mali ou bien le Burkina Faso, actuellement en Guinée, je suis le seul doctorant qui essaie de travailler dans le domaine de l'archéologie. Donc, je suis en train, à travers ce travail-là, de répertorier, faire l'historique de l'évolution de la recherche archéologique de notre pays, la République de Guinée. Donc, en 2012, les travaux de House et de mon collègue de l'Université Cheikh Anta Diop, Serge Loukou, dans la région de Forcaria, en Guinée-Maritime, pour le compte de la société Rio Tinto, après les prospections, ont mis à jour une dizaine de sites montrant des tessons, des céramiques, des scories et des vestiges lithiques. En 2013, une mission de reconnaissance dans la région de Kankan, ça c'est en Haute-Guinée, à la frontière avec le Mali, menée par mon cher Cameron Wok, qui est un archéologue américain, et des chercheurs de l'Université générale Julius Nyerere de Kankan, ils ont mis en évidence une soixantaine de sites, notamment des habitats, des fourneaux, des cimetières, des abris sous roches et beaucoup de matériel abondant ont été retrouvés en 2013. Ensuite, en Basse-Guinée, dans la région de Boufa, une mission sur la traite négrière illégale au 19e siècle et ses conséquences a été menée par Kelly Kenneth et Goldberg pour découvrir l'estuaire du site de Paria. En effet, le site de Faria a été un des endroits où l'esclavage s'est développé, où on venait parquer les esclaves avant qu'on les achemine dans la haute mer, avant leur extradition vers le continent américain. Ensuite, en 2014, Polarolo Lucas va entreprendre
I guess that Omar freeze, don't you think? Yep, perhaps a bad connection or something. Just going to tell him where is he? Oh, Omar, are you still there? Are you still with us, Omar?
I'm sorry, our network
Yeah.
is not good. I'm so sorry. I'm
Oh,
so
yeah.
sorry.
I can see
Yes.
you have a bad
So,
connection.
ok. Je
Okay.
disais, en 2014, Luca Polalero a entrepris une mission pour évaluer le potentiel archéologique dans la région de Bokeh, notamment à Sangaredi, pour le compte toujours de la société Rio Tinto. Les prospections ont permis de découvrir les sites d'habitat et de métallurgie, livrant des vestiges en céramique, des scories et un outillage lithique de l'époque en 2014. Maintenant, en 2023, après mon acceptation et l'inscription à l'Institut national des sciences de l'archéologie et du patrimoine de Rabat, j'ai fait de la promotion du patrimoine culturel guinéen mon combat quotidien. En République de Guinée, la protection, l'entretien et la valorisation des sites et patrimoines archéologiques ne semblent pas être une préoccupation majeure. Pourtant, le pays regorge de nombreux sites archéologiques, préhistoriques, proto-historiques et même historiques susceptibles d'intéresser la recherche archéologique et de façon générale la recherche patrimoniale. De ce fait, la méthodologie a consisté d'une part de repérer d'importants sites en haute, moyenne et en basse Guinée avec la prise des coordonnées géographiques en GPS afin de cartographier à la fin de ma recherche doctorale l'essentiel des sites archéologiques de la République de Guinée. D'autre part, à analyser le matériel archéologique des sites, à documenter les différents sites avec des photos et des entretiens réalisés avec les communautés locales. Malgré le nombre important de ces sites découverts en Guinée, cet exposé va porter essentiellement sur le site préhistorique de Boko, dans la sous-préfecture de Molota à Kindia, et les traces de céramique dans la préfecture de Bofa, en Basse-Guinée. À l'intérieur de la cavité de Boko, ouverte par les orpailleurs, différentes formes d'outils achéliens, notamment des acéros, des pièces bifaciales et des restes de colliers ont été déterrés. C'est ce qui nous amène à estimer que ces hommes préhistoriques avaient atteint un niveau d'évolution, un niveau de progression qui leur permettait de diversifier leur alimentation grâce à cet outil. Aussi, à observer ces pièces, dont certaines sont teintées d'une couleur rougeâtre, notre intuition nous laisse penser qu'ils ont subi une qualification au feu.
Omar, I'm going to ask you to finish, colleague, so we don't run out of time, please. Sorry.
Okay. 1 minute. Malgré le nombre important des sites découverts en Guinée, cet exposé va essentiellement porter sur le site de Goko. Donc, vous allez voir ici des images que je vais vous envoyer. Mais quand on pose la question de savoir à quand remontent les premiers peuplements de la République de Guinée, les preuves les plus irréfutables pour étayer cette curiosité, nous venons de le voir si haut, sont les outils en pierre. Ce sont les seules preuves, les outils en pierre, car les ossements sont plus fragiles et ne sont pas conservés dans le sol. Et en l'absence de datation absolue, l'établissement d'une chronologie pour l'industrie lithique demeure très difficile. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you so much, Omar.
Merci.
And so, without further ado, we are going to listen to Pedro Soutinho from Portugal. So, okay, Pedro, the stage is yours. Go on.
Thank you, João. Let me share my presentation so we can all follow it. Can you see it? Full screen?
Yeah, it's full screen.
Yes.
It's okay.
Okay. Thank you. I want to thank you all for the opportunity, especially João and Alexander, for putting up this event. And for me, it's a great opportunity to present my ongoing research. I just want to give you some context, just to understand why I came to talk about these things. It's just over 20 years I've been studying Roman roads in Portugal specifically, and so I created this website that you can access and see all these itineraries of Roman times but focus on Portuguese territory. So I published some articles. I will go. But what I found interesting is that the network has some properties that were quite surprising, at least for me. And what I found is that they present all these roads a very precise modular structure. That is meaning that the old stations, waypoints, are segmented or divided in irregular stages. So, and this, of course, it comes from creates an organic pattern of occupation that we can observe in several periods of time and historical periods, I mean, and also across different geographies. I will show you some examples. So what I mean is that somehow there's an underlying structural configuration of these ancient roads, and that cannot be justified by cultural transmission or deliberate planning. So of course this is challenging the concept that these roads were built from scratch by Romans, and all these preconceptions that I think this will challenge. Of course, this is based on complex structure because this is integrated in complexity theory, but it doesn't mean that it's complicated, because at the end of it all, it's just a simple generative logic of building roads that is based on models of 10 miles. And this creates a fractal structure, because this pattern appears at the higher scales, let's say 100 miles or even 1,000 miles. So this is the main findings. Sorry, I'm trying. But I just want to give you some context very quickly, just to say that here miles, I mean the traditional Roman miles, no? But which is about 1,000 2,500 meters. And what I found is that in most cases, the general case is that all roads are divided in 10 miles, segments of 10 miles. Why 10 miles? Although there's variations around these values, 8 and 12 miles, which is a kind of adaptation to the landscape. But why the majority of roads are divided in 10 miles? Uh, in my perspective, this is based on the biomechanical properties of man. We generally walk 5 kilometers an hour on foot. So this means 3 hours or 15 kilometers. That means 10 miles. And in the complete journey, this is half the journey. In the complete journey, you accomplish 20 miles on foot. And this, of course, this is, let's say, reflected on the village separations of the settlements that emerge from the road. In the way, villages are separated on this critical distance that allows people that to do round trip travels, let's say, go to another village, come back, sell things, come back without having to sleep over. So this creates a pattern on the landscape. I give you some examples because in my PhD, of course, I needed to extend this from the Portugal case study because, of course, it could be some kind of regional property. I took some good examples, let's say stable examples of ancient routes in the UK, and I found out the same pattern. Exactly, you see here the Ridgeway, which is quite famous. It's also divided in segments of 20 miles. And this is coincided, for instance, with the crossing of the Thames River, which is, of course, the major obstacle on the way. And it is exactly 60 miles from Stonehenge. And this reminds me that maybe we are giving a wrong interpretation of Stonehenge because maybe it's just a way station, a cross junction of the road, and that's why they built that monument there. But of course, this is just an hypothesis. But I test this on the route to Scotland, and of course, this is derived from the recent discovery of the altar stone on Stonehenge that supposedly came from the Spectral Quarry in northern Scotland. And I tried to recreate this land route, this possibility of land route. What I found, it's the division is so clear that crossing rivers, you can see here, Inverness, for instance, is 100 miles from this quarry. So in fact, all the road is segmented in these models of 10 miles, which creates bigger models of 100, 400 miles, as you can see here. So I test this in other geographies. Of course, I look at Egypt and I found the same thing. The most, let's say, important road would be Alexandria to Cairo, and is also divided in these 10 miles models. And in the derivation for quarry also here, Vidan Al Faraz, which is an important quarry because it was used on the pyramids. So in a way, this is ancient road system is also supporting this exploration of quarries. Moving on, so I try to, let's say, cut any possibility of cultural transmission, and Egypt, Great Britain is not that far away. So I look at the ancient road system in Japan, and I found the same thing. Of course, as you can see, this is the connection, the ancient connection. In the middle, you see here Nara, which was the ancient capital, and they are connected to Osaka and to Kyoto on the north exactly by modular distance. And this, of course, is still reflects today because these are Osaka and Kyoto are still the major cities on the region.
Uh, Pedro, sorry, you muted yourself. Pedro, you muted yourself.
Yes, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, but now we cannot see the presentation. So
Yes, I have to move it.
yeah,
Can you see it? Yeah.
yeah,
I touched something on. Sorry.
it's
So
okay.
this is the another case studies in Turkey. Of course, this is the recently discovery monuments in Göbekli Tepe. And of course, this is under great discussion at the moment. Are they temples? Are there settlements? They dating. It's of course unquestionable, and so we are looking at here very early settlements that are not still villages, but what I found is that they have a proper distribution. They have a distribution of again on this modular segmentation of the roads. And I think this is very important. Of course, these roads were on foot, but the sites are also distributed under this pattern. I think this is very important because I think this provides another, like Stonehenge, another possible interpretation of these sites, not as temple as initial proposed, and not as settlements, but just small stations that provide support to travelers. So just a parenthesis now, this is not on my PhD, let's say, but I just visited this Greek town Kavala recently on work, and I just saw there the Via Ignatia, and the same, the stations are also divided in this structure of 10 miles. So this is across periods, time periods, it's not any specific to any historical period. Um, just this is, I think, the main idea I want to give you, but just give you some insights of what I'm trying to go in a little bit deeper, let's say, on the problem, and try to explain how this organic formation of the worlds really happened. And this is of course the case of southern Portugal, and you can see the distances are quite incredibly modular. For instance, Lisbon, you can see Lisbon here, and Merida, which was the bigger cities. And in the middle you have Évora, which is still the main city on the region, and they are separated by 100 miles, and then plus 8 to Merida. So it means this modularity is really still visible today. What I imagine is that, let's say, to explain this, is that this is a model structure built with these building blocks of 10 miles, major cases, but also in Portugal, I found 8 and 12 miles segments. And this is based on historical routes that we have from Roman itineraries. But this is reflected across the whole country. I tested in 25 routes, and this creates this kind of really steady pattern. To finalize, just to give you an idea, what is the why we use here the word fractal. Because this creates really a fractal structure where you can see that you have the 10 mile here in the middle, which is, of course, still adapted today to cycling. And you have also these higher scales, 100 miles or 1,000 miles, which separates capital. So this is a structure that is really showing a fractal. And of course, you can go downwards and go to the 1 mile, because we must remember that 1 mile means milia passum, and this means literally 1,000 steps. So the rule that is being used to measure these distances is our step. Right? So it's very precise in a way. But what I mean here to highlight, I will. This is the conclusion, but I will not discuss this. I will leave this presentation for you to see later on. But I just want to say that these patterns also go to shorter or smaller scales. As you can see, if you go to steps, you can also find that our lives are also organized as in modular distances, And also that even the famous, probably you have already heard of it, is the 15-minute city, which is a kind of urban mantra right now. It's also proposing this model, creating a urban structure that allows possibility for people to walk to places, to pharmacies, to groceries, and of course they are trying to create this modular structure. So we are keep only doing it, although we are not really planning it, I will say. And this, of course, just to close my presentation, just I want to link to with the Katarina presentation, because it's really strange how these things happen. I believe that this is much influenced by the landscape, and we are, as humans, are, let's say, guided by the landscape, by these external factors into certain solutions. And this could be, this case is very easily provable by measurements. So, and I think that maybe this could happen in other things like culture and other techniques, as you discussed earlier. Thank you very much, and feel free to ask anything you want. I think I'm finalizing my PhD this year, but that will be published hopefully next year. But I'm of course open to discuss, because I also try to find explanations for these facts. Thank you very much.
No, thank you so much, Pedro, and good luck for your PhD.
Thank you.
And okay, thank you all for the presentations. Oh, Pedro, can you stop sharing your screen,
Of course.
please? Okay,
Sorry.
thank you so much. I guess that there's a lot to discuss here, I guess, since the first presentations. And really interesting intersections here, despite the diversity of topics. And I don't know if I would like to open the discussion now, but I would like to ask. Oh yeah, Anya, you're there. Okay, okay. Just using my privileged position as moderator. Sorry, but I'm going to finish very quickly. Thank you so much for your presentation. I think that you are very brave on what you're doing. Um, I came across a master thesis. I don't know if you have already take a look on that one from Tara Pruitt. It's about the Bosnian pyramids. I can send you the link. It's a very interesting master thesis on that topic, because you mentioned the that archaeologist that invented the Bosnian pyramids, and that master thesis, it's a very cool exercise on these kind of topics, that they are very interesting, also very sensitive, and I can say that I'm biased on that, so I'm not going to further say anything. But if you want, I'll write on the chat.
Yes,
I'll give you
please.
the link for that master dissertation. I think it's
Yes.
one of the greatest dissertations on the topic. So I'm going to write it. If anyone wants to start,
Just
I don't know.
one thing. Why am I brave? I know. Should I be afraid?
No, no. I think you're brave, because it's a very sometimes a very complicated topic. Uh, and I guess that people like you are needed on this. So I think you're
So
brave.
I can expect to receive some backlash from. I mean,
I don't know if I guess that it depends on the geography, because I'm going to give you a quick example. Here in Portugal, we have the same problem with a guy that invented Phoenician presence in the Azores Islands. The researcher, he's not an archaeologist, and he started to, you know, I don't know if he really understands the way that archaeology works, because he thinks that archaeologists all over the world are making this conspiracy to keep Phoenician presence in the Azores hidden. But in fact, there's something that lacks in his arguments. Garbage. They don't have any garbage from Phoenician presence. So we archaeologists deal with garbage, and if there is no garbage, we tend to ask ourselves like, not sure about this. So what I'm saying is that I don't think you are going to have backlash, but if you stay in a, don't mind if I'm saying this, it's not any way to condition your research, but if you remain in the way you are saying, like, I don't know nothing about this, I want to know, it's the perfect approach to that, I guess. It's my opinion only. So I'm going to search for the link and put in the chat. If anyone, I don't know who raise hand first, so go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I think it was me.
Katarina, because she has
Katarina,
number
yeah.
1 and I have number 2.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
Okay, I just have two for the last two presentations to start with. For Omar, I know it must be really hard to work in the country or in the region where culture heritage is still a very big mix, and there is no backup for it. There is no infrastructure, or the infrastructure is not very developed and so on. But I wanted to tell you something about the dating. For Paleolithic dating, you don't need bones. You can start with thermoluminescence dating, of especially if you have sediments in the caves. This is perfect way of dating. It costs money. You will need a project or maybe some connection with other colleagues from other parts of the world that can help you with this kind of dating. But there is a way that you can date your finds without bones from organic material from that far back is can be problematic, and radiocarbon dates can't reach that far in the past. That is just my comment for Omar, if he understood me. And for Pedro, if I may, thank you very much for this. There is one idea that comes to my mind. One presentation that I heard like 2 years ago from Karsten Lemon. He's an owner of Saison Press, but he's also a PhD in archaeology. And he was talking about whale beakers. So we are talking about the Copper Age period in Europe. And he has a very good idea how people, he was talking more in the sense of kinships, but this also explains the distance that people can travel. So these distances must come from very early in the prehistory, when people were only walking. So his idea is that you always walk, you always go where you have a safe place to eat and sleep. Because there is just there is this amount of food that you can take with you on the journey. It doesn't matter, okay, you go 20, 50 kilometers, that is not a problem. But if you are walking further, if you are walking like 100 or 200 kilometers, and people did migrate or did walk even further for thousands of kilometers, there is this just a human limit of how much in space you can actually pass, and this is also connected with the time of the year. So it is not the same if you are walking in the summer or in the let's say dry season, and if you are walking in the winter, snowy winter or rainy winter, and it depends on also on geology. If you are going on the terrain like clay terrain that is slippery with precipitation, then you are not you are not using it, and not using in the specific parts of the year. So those corridors, the communication corridors, we can also see it if you pinpoint all the archaeological sites in certain periods around those corridors, you will also have this, probably the same pattern. And those patterns come very, very, very far from prehistory. Romans were great people in harvesting knowledge and producing like synthesis of all the knowledge and just producing something very useful in their time. So maybe I'm not sure if he Castelleman published. Probably he did his dissertation, but maybe you can check that as well, because this is the origin of all of this concept of how much people can walk. And of course, there is a different speed between walking with the family, with children, or walking full able-bodied men walking. This is a difference. So maybe you can also explore this part.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you, Catherine. If I may comment, just what you said, I agree totally what you said. I'm finding quite trouble to find people supporting this idea, because in literature we don't have, and so I'm be very thankful if you share with me this concept, because this is absolutely right. I just want to add that the need for a station derives from the terrain also, because the case of Göbekli Tepe is very interesting, because it's a desert landscape, a semi desert landscape, probably that time. Of course, like you said, things changed a lot, but
it wasn't.
Yeah, but they have animals there, so it was completely different. But what I mean is that to support exchange, they have to. The distance was so long that you cannot carry all the food for all the distance, and so you have to create these points, support structures, and of course they are so important that we invest a lot of effort to in terms of architecture, as we can see, and that will justify more their purpose than a simple sacred explanation. Of course, it may have, of course, a lot of symbolic interpretations at the same, but of course, the main objective was to create this network system that women could go from place long distance, like you said. It's different from local occupation that it's a kind of movements of go back and go back, and this is long distance. And what has surprised me, because I didn't know that, is how far they go, because this is 1,000 miles. This network is extended throughout all Europe, so I imagine that they will cover on foot this distance. I don't know, but maybe it's a possibility. The network was already there. This is my conclusion for sure. But just to finalize, is that what I think people miss is that this network is so resilient that it's still here today. So the network never disappeared. This concept that networks disappear and reappear differently is wrong. It's always the same, let's say, way. Of course, changing with time, women make a lot of change, but the ways and the modularity kept the same until the 19th century. This is very interesting, because this is a structure that is supporting all the further, let's say, the future, let's say, development since these ancient times. So this is very, let's say, pervasive and transverse. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Anyone else?
Me.
Yeah, go, Alessandra.
Okay, so I'd like to thank you all, and I'd like to ask a small note to the Diane, if you could make a small text about that we could share on our networks about your project and what you want to do, and what kind of people and expertise do they need to have about the amulets and so on, about the beliefs. So that would help then people to apply to work with you. Is that okay? Okay.
So
Maybe.
how can we share our presentations in you have any special method to share it, or I just can put here in the chat if you want?
It's okay.
I
If
don't
you want
know.
to.
I
Is
don't
it
know
being
if
recorded?
yeah, you can try to, but yeah, it's been recorded, so your presentation is already recorded, Bill.
Okay.
So,
If
but if you want
anyone
to share,
wants,
if you want to
Yes,
share,
I
yeah,
am.
if anyone wants, I will be happy to share.
I was just going to say it would be a pleasure.
Mhm.
What I anticipate is
Mhm.
that people will be investigating amulets that are not from Britain but are in British institutions, because we have robbed and stolen everything from all over the world, so we've got quite a bit, and there's no justification for it. So, but having got it here and obviously being reluctant to ever give anything back, might as well be useful. And my thought was that I can get people to come into museums who would never normally set foot in them, sort of on not, except as maybe the odd child, but they would come in, they would talk about their feelings on amulets. I intend to link it to an oral history project as well, and also to a STEM research term time project for schools, probably for children aged between 11 and 13. That's just the start of secondary school here. And they would all be coming in and looking at amulets in these museums that we would be then suggesting. And I want those suggestions to be curated. So it's not just, oh, I like that one. It's a properly sensible decision making. And then when we get the people coming in and talking about it and bringing in their own ideas and their own amulets, then I think I might be able to curate a conversation, and people would be, and they'd be able to say, are you sure this stone from Java means this, because we have this tradition? And then we would be setting up something that I think could be fruitful and would also engage with people's views and emotions as well. Does that make sense? Have I sold you on my idea yet?
Yes.
yeah, for sure, Diane. Diane, I just have to mention that England stole my heart when I tasted the mint spice for the first time. Stole my heart on the spot. So, became a great fan of mint spice since I go to England.
They're very
So,
special.
So,
yeah, for sure.
so I have another comment about the discussion we were having about Anya's work. So when I started working on the standing stones, the menhirs, and the first presentation I made, I presented a big stone, about 6-7 meters, but with no archaeological work. And some people told me that that was not a traditional menhir. It was not a standing stone. It was a stone that was interpreted by people as a special one, but with no connection with the megalithic world. Well, and that started that was the one of the first things that made me realize that. And the discussion went on that conference about the natural monuments, because some places might be natural, they might not be worked by or carved by humans, but they still have an important meaning. And I've been realizing that because one of those places you have shown us, we have a similar one in Alentejo, which is called the stone of the in love people. I don't know how to explain it, but I think that couples went there and throw small stones, and if the stones stay there, they would be together. I think it's something like this. João, do you know Rocha dos
I,
Namorados
I
in
can
Alentejo?
search
Okay,
and then I put in
okay.
the chat.
It's
What
near
is the name?
the
Rocha dos Namorados?
Yes,
Rocha
I
dos
think it's
Namorados.
Rocha dos Namorados in Alentejo. It's near the Crom Lake. So when I started thinking about this, well,
Yeah.
I think a landscape is a connection of structures and elements. So for me, it doesn't matter if that place was not transformed by the human being. It has a meaning. So when you're talking about the oral tradition, sometimes the places and the landscape is interpreted by people and the communities in a different way that we interpret as an archaeologist. So that's why instead of making my PhD on the ancient landscapes, the road that I took was to try to understand how people, how the communities interpret their landscape, and therefore to understand all the things that you've been talking about. So some places are magical for them. Some places have energy. Well, I don't enter in superstition. I've tried to been away from that, except when I work with amulets. But when I go to archaeological sites, and some of the places I've worked, we went to the top of the mountain and we had the chicken killed there. It was a ritual. So I see lots of rituals in archaeological places that are connected with their special meaning, with their energy. We cannot measure that, but that is a part of the life of the monument. It's not an afterlife, because some people say it's the afterlife of the monument, like a Roman monument, and then it has other lives. It is the life of the monument. So in contemporary times, in today, they are interpreted in another way. So if we register that interpretation, we are making our work. I believe that's we are not making that interpretation, but we are registering what that place means today. So I think it's perfectly acceptable when we are doing this work. So we are registering the place name. We are trying to figure how it connects to the place. We are talking about the legends. We are talking about the practices related to the place. So for me, it makes a lot of sense to make the work that they're doing. And I wouldn't feel afraid or because we're looking at landscape. Now I'm feeling a little bit emotional, sorry, because the person who taught me this, it was Lara. And she said one day to me, Lara has passed away last year, and she was an expert in studying landscapes and the moors and the rock art. And she once told me, well, me and you, we look at landscape in a different way from other people. It's like we know that there are places there that have different meanings. Maybe it's the sound that the water makes. It's different. So me as an archaeologist, I don't try to do anthropologist work. I try to register everything and try to relate things. So I think that's why I like to organize these meetings, to talk to anthropologists. I think that Bojana is an anthropologist. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. I am also archaeologist.
Oh, you're both. Oh, that is
Yes,
great.
yes, yes.
I guess that we are all of us are anthropologists of the past as archaeologists.
It's true. It's true.
If yeah, sorry.
If not garbage
Finish.
men.
But I don't know if I made sense, but I was
Yes,
sharing my
yes. No, you
Mhm.
absolutely made sense. Why I packaged this into an art sort of pseudo archaeological topic is because my interlocutors use the language of archaeology. But I always ask them this question: does it make a difference to you if these places are man-made or natural? And no, it doesn't make a difference to them. And but because of the language and the discourse they use, that's why I associate it with archaeology. But I'm absolutely aware of that the significance is more important than the disciplinary validity of archaeology. And I'm actually, this is one of the things that I'm thinking about. When I do this research, I get new information about, but that person in that place, they do this and this thing, and like, I don't know, they do different rituals, they practice witchcraft on certain points, and I'm always thinking, is this part of the same story or these separate stories? Because for me, of course, it has a certain epistemological value if a place is archaeological in the official sense and is being reinterpreted in a different discourse. Of course, it has a value. But basically, I am trying to understand this new creation of this sort of, I don't know, sacred landscape. And I am most interested in the motivation and the meaning. Archaeology it's there. Of course, I try to understand it from that point of view. I have a bachelor's degree in archaeology, by the way, but I am in no sense qualified to do archaeological work. But yes, I completely understood, Alexandra, what you are saying, because it's the things I'm encountering. It's a typically postmodernly eclectical mix of different discourses, like pre-Christian religions, the Bosnian pyramids, Egyptian pyramids, magic. I didn't encounter aliens just yet, but I'm not closing the door on that. And I also, it's so interesting. I always ask them, these people who work in this association, do you have the same vision of what you want to do with, this? And yeah, we agree on that. But then when I talk to individually with them, well, and sometimes they're like, no, but he doesn't get it. But it's so bizarre. And the first time I've never done like alternative archaeological spiritual things. And the first time I went with a radio, the person who does radiesthesia and the pendulum. And when I drove home, I was like, what the hell did I just experience? I was so, now I toughened up a bit. But I still get surprised. I have these internal battles within myself. I can't say I've ever had a spiritual experience in my life, and I am living in a constant state of cognitive dissonance, and I have no idea what's going on.
That's why I show that thesis.
Yeah.
I recommend that thesis because I guess that you have to think if you are threading on, sometimes you're threading on political grounds and you don't notice that.
In what sense?
Just read the thesis.
Okay.
Okay, Božena, go on.
Can I ask you, Anya, something? Anya, did you know if they took it something from these places, like a stone, small one, or something like that?
If they took?
Yes.
Well, I have some stones from one side, so to make like a ritual circle, so I am more productive in writing academic articles. I don't know. Yes, sometimes they take, sometimes they leave some things, like a ritual deposit or something. And I was talking just this week with a man. He says, "But no, that ruins the whole, energy." Potential, and I have to purify everything when they do it, and it's a whole thing. Like, slowly organized groups are coming to this area and performing, I don't know, meditations and rituals and stuff like that, and the people within this association are like, no, that's not cool, they shouldn't be doing that, but for various different reasons, like they mess up the energy, or they don't contribute anything financially, or it's commercialization of ancient heritage. So it's like, it's a whole thing. But this is a relatively new association. It's like 1 year old. So I am actively watching this process of negotiating different views and like thinking about what they want to do, and it's like it's wild. It is wild.
That's
so
why I
many,
told you. That's why I told you were brave.
you have so many conceptions what you can use, you know, from anthropology, even the culture touristic, you know.
Yes,
this kind of,
I am from the Faculty of Tourism, so I got like infected with this tourism thinking discourse. So I am exploring that topic also. It
yeah,
is like a proto-touristic thing at this point. I don't know where it's going
looking
because
for
these places
spirituality.
are like very remote. This is a remote part of Slovenia, and these stones are usually like in the middle of nowhere in forests. So I always joke, I do my field work with strange men going into the forest with them. So like I don't recommend that. But so it's not like it's visible. It's really, sometimes it's really hard to reach. So it's,
Yeah.
you have to know where to go. I've got lost several times already, so I don't know. So,
And
but
that's cool. And that's cool.
the
That's cool.
takeaway from all this is like I should continue with this. Could I, like, do you think I have the potential of getting some grant for this? Because so far it's my hobby, basically. I do this in my spare time. My job is more mainstream. Okay, this is just the hobby, but I would like to make it part of my job, but I don't know.
You know, I started my PhD with an hobby to visit. I'm kind of an alien on this group because like my research topic is industrial archaeology, and to getting back to Diane presentation, I also find amulets in industrial context. Sometimes we don't know that they are amulets, but they are. We I found a lot of them too. And sometimes I was like, why is this thing here? And then most of the time the explanation is simple. But yeah, definitely, in my point of view, you should go on, Angie, because that's a very interesting topic. For me, it's a very political one too, but I have my bias on this.
Okay.
Anyone else? Um, because I have a question for I don't know if it's for all of you. I don't know if you are in a hurry for going somewhere else, but I'm not. So um, these approaches were you know, many archaeological approaches in a broader sense are made at a macro analytical level, trying to identify broader patterns. But I guess that some of the presentations here today, uh, they work at a much more micro scale, close to you know, lived experience, spirituality, local knowledge, and all that. And so my question is, how do we balance these two scales, macro and micro? Is there such a balance necessary, or are we dealing with fundamentally, you know, different ways of knowing the past? What do you guys think? I don't know if oh, okay, Katrina, go.
Well, I would say that we have to go from micro to from micro to micro, because otherwise, if you go from a big scale to a small scale, you don't get the right view.
A bottom up approach, approach. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, we can talk about bottom up and top down approach and so on. We are very much into this labeling of what we are doing, and I think that sometimes it's also the question of what is currently being very important for the research community, but definitely look at your smaller scale and then build up. Otherwise, there is no, for me at least, there is no point. Now we are coming back to basic research in science, to basic research, because we have expanded the synthesis to the levels that the problem is when you do the synthesis, when you do this big thing, that you are neglecting smaller changes in the regions, different regions, or in time periods. So everything is at the same level, which is not. Life is messy. People are complicated. Traditions, histories, identities are extremely complicated. And if we try to untangle this when it's already a big knot, I don't think that that we will be able to do that. So it's better to, for me at least, I think that it is better to work on a small scale first, and then try to see what we can come up with. But definitely, and through our webinar series last year, we definitely see that there are some traditions, that there are some things going on in regions that are far apart, but have the same time frame, the same way or similar way things were happening, but they are geographically very distant. So this knowledge, this is what we as core archaeologists are missing, because we are, as you so greatly put, we are dealing with garbage that we don't know how we are. I think a lot. We have to have a big imagination to try to explain what is going on, and I personally, listening to people who are dealing with completely different things in a completely different manner, just start to realize the possible pathways through all this. You know, we are building a big identity around the Neolithic people, but okay, let's be realistic. It is very, very difficult. Let's try to put it, down to earth to our finds, and then try to build it up, of course. But this is my opinion.
Which I totally agree, Katerina. Oh, so Peter.
Yeah, thank you. I want just to comment about the Anya work. I think you have to keep following it. Like Joan said, there's a lot of traps around the way, along the way, particularly people that tend to, let's say, try to justify their narratives and try to impose interpretation like ancient civilizations, most advanced than aliens, and all such, which destroys the real thing, which is a pity in a way. So if you stay away from those traps, you will keep on the essential is why people, let's say, put sacred places, why they create this, and we keep creating this and using. I also am not, everyone says is not superstitious, but has some kind of amulet. I also have. So let's say this is way more complicated, but we have to, let's say, we have to find a middle ground, not fantasies, but we have to look at things happen. And I think and this energy, whatever it is, it is felt by people. Just another comment about what said Katerina. I think it's very interesting, really this process we don't really understand. But I didn't find any literature, scientific literature on this. I was almost in despair, and I found a lot of literature on this, on biology, biological systems, plants. And for instance, curiously, plants is like that. They develop the same features independent of the continent they are. So they are the same species, and they develop, if they are in specific conditions, they adapt in the same way. So I believe that we are, of course, thinking we don't, let's say, we don't have an intelligent species to tell us who we are. We just look at the mirror, and we lie to ourselves saying that we planned and think on all of this. and I believe this is my perspective, is that we are just reacting and adapting to nature, and that's why we have this convergence of effects, let's say, so common, because we are thinking that we are okay, we invent this, we create this, but in fact I found out in worlds that they are not created, just a response, organic response to, let's say, to being, to move around, to conquer territory, and from prehistory, of course. And this is really something that can change our perspective of how the human evolution, because it's not our intelligence that it's all alone moving things forward. It's also because we are reacting to external stimulus, let's say.
Okay, in one sentence, Anya, it will be difficult, but it will be worth it. For sure.
Absolutely.
We'll see. Hopefully.
Let's see. Yeah. I don't know if anyone has some more questions.
I have two questions.
Go on, Alessandra.
Okay. So do you think that we could or we should apply for international project? Well, we made There's Catarina. It was a really big contribution. We applied for a cost action for twice. We didn't get the cost action, but I think it's time to go or for a cost action or Erasmus or whatever. I think we must try again. At least this year I'm stronger than last year because of all that has been happening. So this year I feel with the energy to go to apply to a international project to spread more these ideas that are still in the middle of archaeology, anthropology, and so on. So we need space in science, and I think we should do something more than just this conference, workshops, and webinars that me and Katarina are working on the second. Oh, help me! The second cycle.
Yeah, second year, yeah, second turn of webinars, which were really great, and I hope that we will have some good talks. Maybe you will just finish, Alexandra, please.
Oh, so that's my idea to apply to an international project, and the other was to ask you for material, to books, articles that we can share on the website, and to create a database of your work that must be that could be shared with other people. I'd just like to highlight the idea that one thing is the conventional archaeology and this intersection that we're trying to do, talking about the place names and the oral traditions and so on, that is the core of the ArchaeoLore. So we're not just a group of archaeology. We are working on archaeology, anthropology, toponymy. So we need to develop more these ideas of the intersection between these areas.
And I don't know, Alexandra, if you wanted to ask people who wants to join us for the for our webinar series, who has an idea of a presentation, who wants to develop this short presentation into something like 45-minute talk, just please give us a note, email, anything, and we will gladly put you into this series, because there are some fantastic topics now today. Really, we didn't even talk about identities. The first session we had about the identities, yeah, which is a pity, because this is something also extremely important. And okay, it depends in which part of the prehistory or history we are dealing with different things, but identities currently are being just wiped out this modern world, and this is really something really difficult, and also this is important subject to talk about to the wider public as well. So yeah, just if I may just drop a line to me or to Alexandra. Alexandra is the principal organizer. Just give us a heads up. We want to participate. We will talk about the what is good for you, which dates are good for you, and count on about 1 hour of your presentations and a discussion afterwards. I hope that we can also help you to develop your ideas and to show what you're working on, and you're all very welcome to join us.
Well, okay. I don't know if anyone else wants to say something, or should we call it a day? I don't know, Alexander. What do you think?
I'm kind of hungry because I didn't have the lunch.
Oh.
So I'm going to have a snack and lunch at the same time.
Okay.
No, I think we had a great workshop, and we talked about quite interesting topics, and we have material, and we are starting to feel like a group. Some of us, we already know each other, and we see each other in some moments. So I think it would be interesting to work together, articles and so on. We had an interesting experience writing an article to Katarina's journal. And it was quite interesting to work with other people from other countries. So I think this would be a very enriching experience to work about the amulets, to work about the landscape, these patterns, the identity, but starting to work with each other, even informally. So I think that's the purpose of the ArchaeoLore group or the network.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You too, João. You too.
Oh, I'm kind of an alien here, but yeah, of course. So if you all agree, I'm going to stop the recording. It's okay. So I'm going to stop it.